design I have here, I decided to call it West Texas. And I got to thinking about that, you know, and usually I think oftentimes when somebody creates something or designs something of their own, whether they are writing a book or composing a song or whatever they might be doing, I kind of feel that probably their personal experiences probably oftentimes comes through in whatever they perform or do. And so I never grew up in West Texas, though. I've visited many times. I've been to Fort Davis and so on and so forth. But I did grow up in south central Nebraska, and when you look at the western part of Nebraska, there's a lot there that reminds you of West Texas. Some of the things that are common to that area as well as West Texas is that you will find Spanish daggers, the yucca type plants. You'll find tumbleweeds. You'll find cacti. You'll find rattlesnakes. And some of those elements I included in this design when I did the yucca and the cacti here. I didn't get in the rattlesnake, but and one of the other things that are in common, I think, is particularly when you go by ranching areas. There is a lot of wind that passes through Nebraska, and I think there's wind that probably goes through West Texas. And so you see windmills as a source for pumping water because the region in general is dry. And so that is part of the thought I had in calling this West Texas. And so I extrapolated thoughts I had about Nebraska to West Texas. Now there are some areas, and some other common things are in the Sandhill in Nebraska, men will brand their cattle very much like I suppose West Texas ranchers do. And there's also coyotes. And I often remember hearing coyotes yell in the night when I in the house that I grew up, farmhouse that I grew up in Nebraska. Oh, I think we have some fashionably late people. She's brought her foot with her. I'm glad you're here because I was just telling people.
The lecture?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I was just telling people how I compared West Texas with western Nebraska.
Okay.
And you're the one person that can authenticate what West Texas is like.
Right.
And what I just said was, there in western Nebraska there's cacti and yucca like Spanish daggers and tumbleweeds and rattlesnakes and dry climate and wind, all of that. So I've incorporated that into my design.
She's
and
not
the
only one.
And you grew up in San Angelo.
Yes, and so
is
did
that
David.
you call that West Texas?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm thinking of extreme West Texas.
I was going to say, you got some experts here.
David grew up in San Angelo.
Oh, you did? Okay, well then, jump in if you disagree.
So far, I disagreed with nothing.
So anyway, I last mentioned about coyotes. So I put in coyotes as a symbol or
which we have here at our house.
You have them here in town? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, ways in which western Nebraska doesn't compare with West Texas is that extreme West Texas has mountains, and although there is Scotts Bluff in western Nebraska, Nebraska really doesn't have the mesas like West Texas has. And originally I was going to design mesas here, and I was borrowing the idea from Sandra here, because when you go to her house, she also has a mesa somewhere in her house. I know the one over in Alamo Heights she did. And until as I was planning this out, and I decided that I had a day scene, and I thought, you know what, I should have a night scene, because I think that's a universal experience that everybody experiences day and night. So I thought to the viewer, it might be good to have a day scene and a night scene in what you're viewing. And so then the mesa got chopped. And so it doesn't look too much like a mesa, but that was one of the ideas that I had in designing this. So that's how I justify the fact that I call this West Texas, even though I didn't grow up in West Texas. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about how constructed this, or how I put this together, my palette, of course, are woods that are of different color, different shade, different grains. And so I just want to point out to you the different woods that are in here. This is a pecan branch, but I have a pecan tree by my garage, and so I made planks out of the pruned off a branch, and I made these pecans. So these are pecans, and this is an oak that's off my heritage oak up front. And so this is oak, this coyote, moonstars is oak, this is oak. And this particular piece of wood right here, which makes the framework of the windmill, is a Oriental persimmon that I had grown. And it died on me, and so I thought, well, I'm going to get more out of it than just the fruit. So I chopped it up. And so those three pieces, woods, I actually grew. The wood that's on the side here that has these wonderful stripes to it is hickory, and that came from Marge's sister's farm in eastern Iowa, and they had, the tree fell over in a hurricane or something, or a tornado, and a rainstorm, and so they were cutting it up, and so I got a branch of that and brought down and made those pieces. These pieces are here, are a scrap that I had. That's West pine, or white pine, and then I had redwood here. A long time ago, some of you might remember, before we added on to this house, I had a redwood egg carton type patio cover, and when I had to remove the wood to put on the addition, I saved the wood, and I've circulated it in doing various things. But that particular wood, I had painted it one time red, and so it weathered some. And so these pieces right here are weathered redwood that had been painted red, and you'll notice there's little flecks of painting still on there. And I put that there because I thought it would accent a division between landscape and sky. And so that's redwood. And then also these little pieces here, which originally were going to be boulders, but I shaped them to be like cabins. Those I stained. This I stained. These two pieces of redwood I did not stain, just to have variety. And so in a way I've got three different versions of redwood. And then I used, you noticed I used the hickory here, and I put the stripes deliberately like this to kind of get maybe an idea of a sunset behind the windmill. And then this is the sun, and here's, of course, the blades of the windmill, and that's made out of walnut. The one piece that was bought, Marge gave me the walnut wood here. All the rest was either scraps or from my own tree. So it hadn't cost me anything to do this part. This part right here, I'm not sure what this wood is. It was the back side of a stereo that my daughter had. And so I just saved the wood. But Harry Jewett has seen this, and he tells me that this is called China oak. And I figured, well, he's an engineer in construction, so I guess he would know. But anyway, it has that, it's laminated. This piece right here that kind of separates the division between those two parts of the picture is this Chinese oak. And it has different colors on either side, you notice. And so when I went to do the sun, I simply used my screw saw to make the beams and then inverted it so that, actually I think what I did, I made two pieces like this and then interchanged them, and fortunately they fit pretty well. That's the one part that took a little skill to get all of that to match, and it took a lot of reskying, a little piece here, a little piece there, but I felt finally got satisfied with that.